guys, welcome back to the most amazing top 5. I'm Courtney McGinley. Let's jump right into our list of the top 5 Disney scary dark secrets. Starting off on our number 5 spot, human remains. In 1967, Disneyland Imagineers used real human skeleton remains obtained from the UCLA Medical Center to make Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean ride look more convincing. How messed up is that? If you visited the park around this time and went on this ride, then the bones you saw were real. Over time, most of the bones have been removed, but employees have said that one still remains, and that is the skull that sits above the treasure room bed. So the next time you go on this ride, keep a lookout for that. Speaking of human remains, apparently the employees in charge of the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland have to constantly be on the lookout for people dumping ashes. Apparently it's not uncommon for people who have passed on to have asked their family members to dump some of their ashes there. Yeah, that's pretty eerie. Coming out at number 4, deaths. So one of the most popular rides at Disneyland is the Matterhorn. Well, it turns out there have actually been 2 deaths caused by this ride. In 1964, a 15-year-old boy from Long Beach was injured after he stood up on the Matterhorn bobsled and fell out. He died 3 days later as a result of the injuries. Then in 1984, a 48-year-old woman was killed when she was thrown from a Matterhorn bobsled car and struck by the next oncoming bobsled. So the next time you go on it, if you choose to go on this ride again after hearing these stories, make sure you're extra careful. Coming in at number 3, sexist. Nowadays, Walt Disney is all about gender equality, but it didn't always used to be that way. Back in 1938, a woman named Mary T. Ford applied to Walt Disney Productions for a job as an animator. Shortly after she applied, she received a rejection letter. She was informed that she wasn't the right person for the position because she was a woman. The really ironic part is that the rejection letter was written on Snow White stationery that was decorated with 2 female characters. In the rejection letter, they actually wrote the following: "Women do not do any of the creative work in connection with preparing the cartoons for the screen, as that task is performed entirely by young men. For this reason, girls are not considered for that training school. The only work open to women consists of tracing the characters on clear celluloid sheets with India ink, and then filling in the tracings on the reverse side with paint according to directions." What's even crazier is that this letter that was given to her was signed by Mary Clean. Yes, this letter was signed by another woman. Also, there's no reasoning behind why they don't hire women for this position. Ridiculous. Also, I'm going to throw in a fun little fact for you guys about Snow White. So the voice behind Snow White was from Adrena K. Slotty, and she only got paid $970 total for her performance of the voice of Snow White. Also, after the movie's release, she was unable to find acting work because her voice became so recognizable. So yeah, having such an iconic role as voicing Disney's first princess backfired. Coming in at number 2, racism. There's actually so much racism in Disney movies, it's ridiculous. First, we have Fantasia, which was released in 1940. The original release of this movie included a now controversial character named Sunflower. She was a small dark-skinned centaur with braided hair who was a servant to the larger light-skinned centaurs. She was in charge of polishing their hooves and doing their hair. These scenes were viewed as extremely inappropriate, so Disney removed her from the film in 1969, which was 29 years after its release. Then the very next year in 1941, we have Dumbo. While this movie is about a little elephant, the story does have some deep racist undertones when it comes to the crows. The leader of the South African speaking crows is named Jim Crow, which was also the name of the laws that brought segregation to the South in the late 1800s and continued until 1965. The crows are also portrayed as dim-witted, annoying, and lazy. Then in 1946, we got hit with maybe the most racist and inappropriate film of them all, The Song of the South. This was just blatantly racist. This movie is about a former black slave singing songs and telling stories while still living on the plantation he was enslaved in. I don't know what Disney was thinking with this one. Over the years, critics have referred to this movie as one of Hollywood's most offensive and racist texts. It's also been called out for basically glorifying slavery. This video has never been officially released in its entirety on home video in the US, and now you know why. But before all of the negative attention took over, this movie did manage to win an award for Best Song. And that song was Zippity Doo Dah, which I'm sure many of you have heard before.
Wonderful day, yes sir. Zippity Doo Dah, zippity yay.
After this, we have racism in Peter Pan with the Native Americans, the Lady and the Tramp with the Siamese cats, and the Jungle Book with the monkeys. Yeah. It's a lot. And in at number 1, sex crimes. This is one that even I hadn't heard of before doing research for this list. So apparently at least 35 Disney World employees have been arrested since 2006 and accused of sex crimes involving children, such as trying to meet a minor for sex or possession of child pornography. That is so messed up. About this, the president of the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Ernie Allen, said, "It's hard to imagine any company that's done more, that cares more, that's trying harder on these issues. And part of the reason is Disney recognizes that it's a magnet. It's a magnet that is sort of America's symbol for children. It's crazy to think they've hired so many child predators. When someone is applying for a job where they will be surrounded by children or have easy access to them, background checks involving certain areas need to be looked into more thoroughly." Alright, and there you guys have it. That's your list of the 5 Disney scary dark secrets. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what other lists you'd like to see down below. Don't forget to show us some love by subscribing to our channel and giving this video a big thumbs up, and I will catch all of you in the next one.